Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys on Marvel Studios not having a major panel at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So San Diego Comic-Con is one of the major big events of the year for Marvel fans, and unfortunately, this year's going to be a little bit different because Marvel Studios is not going to be putting on a big presentation in the Hall H, which is where they kind of do the big presentation for all of the big new shows and films coming from Marvel Studios. They're not going to be there. And the reason for that is, well, they're not going to have a huge amount to talk about. So no point spending millions of dollars flying everybody in and putting everybody up and putting on this big presentation when they've got not a lot to talk about, because obviously right now here in the UK, they're filming Avengers Doomsday, and that's not going to be coming out until December of 2026. Sony's got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out in July. But there's no big movies coming out after Fantastic Four. Now, speaking of Fantastic Four, Marvel is going to be apparently there at San Diego, really heavily promoting that film because it's coming out the same month. So they are going to be there. There's going to be some smaller little panels. Looks like there might even be something for the Marvel animation side of things. They are going to be there, just not in the same capacity because essentially they have got very little to talk about. Now, there are some projects coming up over the next year that they could potentially do, but that includes Wonder Man, which is coming out in December, and the second season of Daredevil Born Again. Those are quite a way off, so using this time in July to promote them might be a little bit too early. They have got some animated shows in August. We're getting Eyes of Wakanda, plus we're going to get Marvel Zombies in October. Those two, I suspect, will probably have smaller panels, maybe giving us a little bit of a sneak peek at them. That's the only thing I could think of. Also next year, we've got second seasons of X-Men 97 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So on the animation front, there's probably enough there for a decent panel, but not in Hall H, which is a big room with thousands of people. They're probably going to do a much smaller scale. So there might be little bits of news coming out, but again, no big flashy presentation, because you think back to some of the big events when they've had those big sort of slideshows where they're showing off all those movies and shows coming in the next few years. Well, they got burned doing that. That really caused them a lot of problems with promising stuff that they maybe couldn't deliver, but also a lot of stuff that got delayed. And I think we're seeing them realize now that that big presentation is not a great thing to do if they're not ready. I think they've pulled their things back, and that's what they're doing. And it makes sense. I mean, there's no point in showing off all these movies and shows that they are planning on making if they're not going to do them. Also, we're going to be seeing a lot less from Marvel in the next few years. This year's a bit of a throw out some of the stuff they've already got made, but from next year, we're seeing a lot less. 2 shows a year, the Vision Quest, which has, that hasn't really moved on yet to be able to show us anything. Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Wonder Man. That's pretty much all we've got on the docket for maybe the next 18 months, maybe 2 years. They are really slowing things down, multi-season shows, much lower budget. And because they're lower budget, these are not being treated in the same level as the movies are. And with no major movies coming out for over a year after Fantastic Four, makes no sense in doing anything. Now, some people are like, well, they could start advertising Avengers Doomsday. It's too early. There's no point promoting a movie 18 months away at a big event. You could do that next year. And I don't think even next year they're going to do a lot, because Sony might want to do something for Spider-Man because it will just be coming out. But again, Doomsday, they're going to have a lot of secrets. So they're not going to want to give away too much. Now, Marvel has skipped previous San Diego Comic-Cons. This is not uncommon. They've skipped for a number of reasons. Maybe the strikes, maybe the pandemic, but also sometimes when they've just not got major stuff to announce, or they've got the big D23 event, because that's the big thing, I think, for next year. That's obviously a big thing that they're going to need to look out for next year. If there is a D23 event in the summer, they might want to keep that information about Avengers for that. Who knows? But with less shows to talk about, less movies to show about, that means they've just got less to speak about. And I think one of the biggest problems that they would have is if they turned up for San Diego Comic-Con this year and was like, here's some clips from Wonder Man and here's a little bit from Daredevil, and that's it. And we're not announcing any new shows, or we confirm, maybe Vision Quest is coming. People are going to be disappointed. They're going, well, previously we had loads of movies and loads of shows. No, Marvel's dead. Well, it's better sometimes just not to show stuff and I just think in that situation, Marvel really is in a lose-lose situation. If they don't turn up, excitement up that way, people will be disappointed. But if they turn up and don't deliver, people will be even more disappointed. So I totally understand what they're doing. But let me know, do you think this is a good move by Marvel to skip San Diego Comic-Con this year? Do you think it's right that they do so? Do you think the idea of doing these big presentations just don't make sense anymore with how they've done it? Love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Laters.